Welcome back to everybody's favorite place, Paradise. We're gonna just wander around a little bit today. Not too sure what we're gonna do, but picking up loot is high on our priority list, so let's go ahead and do some of that first. Island Sequence 22. That wasn't so long ago. All the vampire murders begin. So, we solved the vampire murders here, but I'm not actually convinced that we got rid of all of the vampires. The people here caught one vampire. Who knows whether or not that's all of them. Of course, that's not something the game answers. That's just something we consider on our own, you know?
If you want.
What the heck?
The dead zone is leaking demonic gas.
Now, as you might remember, we
Purifying systems
emitted
seems
the
to
demonic gas, and that's not a comment about beans, it's a comment about going up to the top of the building and hacking a computer. Oh, Island Sequence 18. Erroneous timelines. Gregory Complex gave his life so they may be switched back. There is some talk about islands being erased. I think it was Island 16 or 17 that was just erased from history entirely. There are a lot of fun ideas here, and I always love that. I love when the ideas are strong enough that you could make another game out of them. Obviously, scope creep being what it is, you don't want to, but you could. You know, I don't think we can get there from here. Oh, we can. Let's just go ahead and grab that. And then we're going to go through underneath, through that deep factory tunnel. It doesn't actually go anywhere we haven't been, but it is somewhere we haven't been, if you see what I mean. This kind of gallivanting, running around on the world trying to find things, is just one of the things that is the most enjoyable about this game. However, I don't think that comes across in a Let's Play. I have a feeling it's a very boring thing to watch. But that's what y'all voted for, so that's what you're getting. So to get through here, we need some goat and some cosmos. It's not a very challenging set to get. It's very available very early on. And we'll just go ahead and set it up for ourselves. And in here is a bunch of meta stuff, as I recall, and some more stuff of our favorite actress or assassin turned actress. So let's run. Run! I don't know whether or not these interior spaces map perfectly to the outside world, but they are large enough that they might. 12th Island Sequence. Centuries of visions. Every clock remained at 000, and we all saw great stone citadels on a forgotten planet. Yeah, I wouldn't mind playing that game, I'll tell ya. Oh, we have to visit the beach. Yeah, that's fine, we'll do that later. Cosmic Deceit. A many-armed iguana buried under the shifting sands of the bizarre purple desert hidden in Egypt. A nasty and selfish god. So this was the god that caused this whole problem, indirectly, because he's the reason why our architect can't be on the council. Our architect is descended from the person who got seduced by him, and you know, her father Romeo was not allowed to be on the council. Neither was any of his children after he got seduced, and because of that, she takes some annoying steps to, you know, kill people. So that's what this game is being caused by. Also, there's a funny little thing there with the warring houses and his name being Romeo, but we won't go into that. Anyway, here we can see, I think these are popular YouTubers because I definitely recognize Jacksepticeye there. But they could also be the devs or something, I'm not sure. Maybe they're the voice actors. Was the guy with the fake arms, was he Jacksepticeye's voice? I don't know. I don't listen to these people enough to know their voices by heart. A diary from a worker at the power station. They're complaining about abnormal time distortions from being near the reality folding drive. Lost time, days that go on for months, and unexpected age regression are all common side effects. I want to talk about these giant scrolling billboards, but this isn't the game to do that with. There are other games that do it more aggressively as part of their core aesthetic. But it is an aesthetic that I really enjoy. Well, it just repeats the same 6 portraits, so maybe it is the voice actors. I don't know. You mean someone that's good at killing, or someone that doesn't get caught? Ooh.
The investigator is here. I don't like.
So here we're having a nice little conversation with Shinji. Recently, in a different series, I talked about the way that conversations with Shinji are different than conversations in Yakuza Like a Dragon. And I won't regurgitate that here. But basically, Shinji has to be super zany because he's the only person we talk to. So in order to get the variety that we need out of our conversations, he needs to be really bizarre. Whereas in something like a Dragon, with 10 people attached to it, 10 party members following you around everywhere, each party member can be a lot less zany because you got more of them. Basic stuff, right? Not a very complicated idea. Where's the other horn? I don't know why this horn always confuses me. There's something about it that doesn't stick in my head. Here we are. Oh, excuse me. And here we are, back at the deep factory. This is where we got one of our unlocks over there in the far corner. That was the hard one, the one that you might not get if you're just playing the game for funsies. There's not really a whole lot left to do in this area. If we were to do a little bit of a scan, we can just check and see. You can see that we haven't missed anything in this immediate vicinity, but there are 2 things that we do want to grab in this area, which is why we came over here. So let's go ahead and do them. The first thing we want to grab is whatever that yellow heart is, because that's just, I think it's a phone. Yeah, it's a phone. So we'll just clear that off of our list of things to get. But the other one is actually important to the plot, so we'll get that in a second here. Loquacious jellyfish. During the wars of prehistory, the gods brought jellyfish to the earth from another planet and used them as messengers. Oh, I've been thinking a lot about space games. Surprise, right? But I mean games with complicated life simulations and planets and stuff. And this isn't really the place to talk about it, but I really like the idea of simulating deep time. And I've been thinking about that a lot. And this game, of course, doesn't do that. There's no simulations involved. But it does have some of that feel, And you can find that feel in a lot of other places, too. Like if you're... I've just forgotten. I'm blanking on the name of the game. It's a game that's just a giant homage to the Spectrum. Wonderful Skyline. Oh, I can't believe I'm blanking on it. Oh, it happens. There's a lot of games that give you that hint of ancient stuff, but the idea is that if they're lo-fi, there's something special about it. There's just something interesting about a lo-fi game that sort of plays to that age, to that because it's not showing you very much, so it can get away with that.
The investigator is here.
Oh, that's right. I have to turn it on. If it shows you too much, it's easy to take it at face value because it's got a face. But if it's just hinted at, it's much more interesting and foggy. And that is something that works pretty well. So if you're running with a lo-fi game, you can have a lot more stuff that is not painted super clearly, but instead left to the player's imagination. And deep time is one of those concepts. Deep time is, of course, the idea that humans can't really think about the timescales that are involved with things like evolution and planetary formation.
Got it.
Just not able to comprehend it with our mushy ape brains. Alright, so first let's scan Yuri's phone. I guess it doesn't really matter, but Yuri is the less important character.
Ooh,
I got the records. It looks like all the calls made to or by Yuri happened at the celebratory garden, so he didn't leave the location. At least not with his phone making calls. But he called Yuri. Yuri and Lydia were talking, but there was a time, we know this from Lydia, there was a time when Yuri just didn't pick up. That time.
What the hell?
I wonder what he was doing during that time. More importantly, I'm wondering where he was. He tries to give an excuse about, static from the world ending or whatever, but where could he have been that the phone signal couldn't reach? Anyway, let's call Witness now. Or let's look at Witness's call. So Witness and Akiko called a little bit, and here we can find out that Akiko was lying. I know this is a huge shock, Akiko lying about where she was. We already know that she was responsible for setting up the red herring, so almost everything she's told us has been a lie.
I have a bad feeling about this.
And we can go confront her about it, but she's just going to say that that we're wrong. But here we also see that Witness called an unknown phone number. It was dialed at midnight. The call picked up, but ended in under a second. We already know that somebody had to let the demon out of the box, and that's almost certainly what this is. Yeah, see? Now, if you find this out before you reach the crime scene, you might be confused as to what it is. It's interesting because it sort of implies that Witness to the End has the ability to register phones to the network without leaving any traces, which is a little bit strange. I mean, he's not ever noted as being a hacker or in charge of telecommunications or having any pull with the company that runs the phone lines, so why does he have that power? Well, it's not that important, is it? We're going to keep this one short because there's no reason to watch me run to our next location. It's just going to be running. I mean, we could go this way. Let's go ahead and go for another 2 or 3 minutes here, because we do have one more thing we need to do in this area. So this is the beach. You should remember it because someone died here, and it's very rude to forget about someone dying. But over here, there is a little bit of a treasure for us. There it is. So back in like episode 3 or whatever, I opened up this this crate, this loot box, and I forgot to actually pick up the loot. It's nothing important. It's just more about that lost pain on the far side of the moon. But it felt weird to leave it like that. It was just me talking fast enough that I lost track of what I was doing, and yeah, I missed something. It happens. I think that's probably it for today. There are still some mysteries left to solve. Most of them are upstairs. Playful stones, a common game among children. Stones are arranged on a grid, and players take turns moving them to capture the opponent's stones and stacking them. And I think that'll do for today. See you in the next episode. Boop.